underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of it is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.
I'm Ken Paxton, and I approve this message.
Senator John Cornyn has a special place in his heart for radical Islam. Even as Muslim extremists force Sharia law on Texans, Cornyn sides with his friends at groups tied to radical Islamic terror.
Thanks to my friends at Islamic Relief USA.
Friends who praise Muslim Brotherhood. Cornyn even believes we have a moral obligation to support Muslim mass immigration. And he still thinks he should be our senator?
I mean, God willing, inshallah.
But do you seriously believe there's abortion in the water like some of the far-right activists are suggesting?
I have not. You just said abortion in the water?
That's what some far-right activists are saying, that they have an audience in the EPA on that absurd issue.
Yeah, I have not had a conversation with anyone at the agency as far as abortions in water.
And you're not actively pursuing it, or don't have groups of...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
My friend and former Senate colleague Susan Collins was not able to be here. Susan is back in D.C. She doesn't like to miss votes. And here's the thing I'll say about Susan Collins is sometimes I get frustrated with Susan Collins. I almost wish that she was more partisan. But the thing I love about Susan is she is independent, because Maine is an independent state. And frankly, if she was as partisan as I sometimes wish that she was, she would not be a good fit for the people of Maine. So let's give a shout out to Susan Collins, who's doing a great job.
He took the press out of the middle and talked right to the people. What did President Trump do? What did Galbraith do? I'm going to talk right to you. I ain't scared enough. You think I lack for courage? In fact, they had to hog tie me from taking that bull on. So there ain't no money in it. The New York Times is going to show up, and all they're going to print is, if you like your doctor, you can keep him. Whatever they say, they're going to call it the gospel, and you ain't going to hear another word about it. So as you might guess, I'm not shy about courage about nothing, in terms of that.
But you haven't debated him.
I'm debating him right now.
No, you're not.
I'm glad
You're not debating him. You're giving a bunch of platitudes. You're not explaining anything. You've not gone toe-to-toe with the congressman. You're not explaining your differences. You're not doing anything. You're not explaining any differences.
I just laid it all out, young man.
It made no sense. It made no sense.
I didn't want to see your Letterman jacket.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a civil conversation?
Yeah, a civil conversation is the congressman and him debating, not him pulling up signs and a Letterman's jacket.
You asked the question, he answered it.
That's not an answer.
While the self-described guerrilla journalist James O'Keefe has historically trained his sting operations on left-wing targets, his most recent victims have included a Fox News executive and now a pair of domestic policy officials inside the Trump White House. Maxim Lott, seen here at Screen Left, was brought on board as a special assistant to the president for domestic policy. Benjamin Elliston at Screen Right was serving until yesterday's White House action, placing him on administrative leave as a senior budget analyst in the White House Office of Management and Budget. The swiftness of the action taken against Elliston is easy to understand once you hear the comments he was caught making to O'Keefe's operative.
We have to get rid of Trump. Seriously. He's a mess. He's for everybody. Everybody. We gotta get rid of him. With him at the top, it's next to impossible to do anything. He's a madman. Literally.
Lott has since defended his comments, reportedly asserting that nothing he said contradicts the president or his agenda, but his remarks to the O'Keefe Media Group were hardly flattering either.
Like, the decision-making processes are a little bit I think it's just the overall tone and, the government right now is a little bit unusual. There's no this will cost $10 million, but save people $20 million. There's nothing like that. It's just this feels like a good idea, or the base supports this or something.
It's not at all clear that when these individuals who are caught in James O'Keefe's sting operations are showing up at these locations and finding themselves surreptitiously recorded, that they understand at all that they're meeting with a journalist. I think the common term used is honey trap, and so many times in these sting videos we see the victims of them saying, are you sure you're not a spy? Because the questions you're asking are exactly the type of way you get information out of people like me. There is almost such a willingness to believe here, and that is key to the wool being pulled over these people's eyes. Mr. O'Keefe himself posted online on social media, if you're meeting with a 10 and you yourself are a 5, it's because I hired her.
Who is funding Ed Galrine? New York billionaire Paul Singer. He bankrolled pro-abortion Democrats, partnered with George Soros to push open borders, and gave a max donation to Liz Cheney after she voted to impeach President Trump. New York billionaire John Paulson hosted a fundraiser for Chuck Schumer, listed in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book. Las Vegas billionaire Miriam Adelson funded anti-gun, pro-abortion Democrat fighting to put biological males in girls' sports and pushed Trump to go to war in Iran. Ed Galrine, bought by the billionaires, selling out Kentucky.
I want to better understand how you weigh an illegal alien's immigration status whenever you're making charging decisions. Do you know who Ander Jose Cortez Mendez is? Are you familiar with that case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a Guatemalan illegal alien who was arrested in March of 2024. He was initially charged with, quote, carnal knowledge of a 13 to 14-year-old. Just for those of us who aren't lawyers, can you describe just very briefly what does carnal knowledge of a 13 to 14-year-old mean in this context?
Well, sir, generally a charge like that would typically refer to underage sex.
Okay, so he raped an underage person, an illegal alien who raped an underage American. Your office reduced those charges to a misdemeanor charge of consensual sex with a child 15 years and older. You offered him a 90-day suspended jail sentence. Is that correct?
Sir, based on the evidence that we had in the case?
So it is correct.
All right, Thursday night, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing good. As always, be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Instagram only Bible study. Join me. Well, it's Instagram and TikTok. Instagram and TikTok now, live Bible study only. So no politics. It's actually hard for me to do that, not to keep mentioning things over and over again. But anyway, join me tomorrow night. If I forget, tomorrow night, Instagram and TikTok only. For the Friday night Bible study, we're going to be talking about cessationalism. So you might want to join on that one. Boy, there can be some sparks flying. But anyway, all right, so let me see who is in the chat tonight. Let me scroll down to the bottom here. There we go. All right. Let me see. The one and only Release the Hog is on. Scooter Magruder is on. Granite 2468 is on. Auntie Mama is on. Jim Brody is on. Jules 21 Hours is on. Sexy Pony is on. Let me see here. General Plowman is on. Linesmanson is on. Biggie 926 is on. Let me see. Robin Aroni is on. Bud Dave is on. Peg Graham is on. Jeannie Malfeasy is on. Scrolling down. Sexy Pony is on. Luann 5 is on. Gray Bear is on. Agravane is on. Let me see. K4 VMS is on. Captain Cliff is on. Conservative Waffle is on. Patrina C is on. Luann 5 is on. Let me see. Scrolling down. Skunk 71 is on. Les Cruz Brown is on. Snag Dog is on. Aphrodites is on. Uncle Wally is on. Let me see here. See if I can get to the bottom. Gloyd Shaw is on. Scrolling down. Let me see here. Racing you guys to the bottom here. That doesn't sound good, but it is. Thunderbolt is on. Conservative Warrior is on. Stephen Toms is on. If I didn't say it already, Uncle Wally is on. Peg McGroin is on. Be Chilled is on. Scrolling down here. Let me see. Anybody I haven't seen yet? Scrolling down. I think I have reached the bottom. I think Confederate One is on. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. All right, let's go to Kentucky and Thomas Massey. That's how we'll launch tonight. And as you saw in the pregame, you just need to know who it is that's backing Eddie Gowring. Who's backing Eddie Gowring? Soros, people, AIPAC money. I can't remember. Paulson, Price, Soros. Not Miriam Nadelson, who wants boys and women's restrooms. All of it. Same thing over and over again. So people, it's amazing. And then you see the Trump people come out, and we'll get to all this. You see the Trump people come out and said, vote for Eddie Gowring. So now being a Trump person is being a pro-Soros person, pro-Price, pro-Paulson, pro-AIPAC, pro-Miriam Nadelson. That's what it means now. Pro-men and women's restrooms, because those are the people that are backing Eddie Gowring. Just so you know. All right, so let's go to the first one. Thomas Massey tweet. So we have this false accusation from Thomas Massey's alleged ex-girlfriend. I'm going to show you exactly why and how it's false in just a minute, because it's just simply the facts. It's all that it is, as usual. All you have to do now is everybody puts their entire life on what? Social media. So all you need to do is track people's dates and you know whether they're lying or not. So anyway, the contrived and false deposition released just 1 week before my election was conducted. So this is coming from his alleged ex-girlfriend that he started dating more than a year after his wife died. And she has claimed now that he tried to give her a $5,000 basic NDA, keep your mouth shut, cash payment. That never happened. But anyway, the contrived and false deposition released just 1 week before my election was conducted by Kerry, who lost to me in 2012, in the law office of McCurtry, who lost to me in 2020, and posted immediately by Dieters, who lost to me in 2024. These are the people who are posting the false allegations against Thomas Massey. Kerry, who lost to me in 12, McCurtry, who lost to me in 2020, and Dieters, who lost to me in 2024. You really can't make it up. And why you're saying it's not really a week out? It is because non-in-person voting, mail-in voting, whatever they call it. It's not mail-in voting, but it started to maybe mail-in. But anyway, it started today in Kentucky. So they did drop this 1 week before voting began, because it's a 3-day. I think it's the 14th to 16th. Non-in-person voting day. What do you call it, Aaron? Mail-in voting?
Yeah, mail-in or absentee.
No, it's an absentee. But what do we do here when we go early? Early
voting.
Early voting.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I was looking for.
Gotcha.
No, you got it. So anyway, you came through. So early voting began today. Early non-in-person voting started today at it's also in person, because you can go early vote here in person too, which I've done, which I did the last time I voted for Trump. Yeah. But anyway, and it's Trump people that are backing these people. So you again, and I don't mean to be redundant, but this is right now, sadly, we're in the middle of a civil war. We're in the middle of a civil war. Now, that doesn't mean that I hate Trump. It just means I hate that Trump is doing this. And the people who cannot acknowledge that they hate that Trump is doing this. So I want to know, you know what? I need to do this. I need to put this out on a social media post. Those of you that are trying to sabotage or get rid of Thomas Massey, or are now suddenly pro-foreign war. I want to know where Kat Turd and Dinesh D'Souza and all of, and all the other ones that, the Laura Loomers and all the rest of them, are you in favor of COVID vaccines? I want to know for the record, because your golden idol, literally now outside of, wherever it is that he built a golden statue to himself. Are you now in favor of Operation Warp Speed? I just want to know. For the record, are you? Why are you not attacking Rand Paul for having his hearings on exposing Anthony Fauci right now? Okay, because you are obviously anti-Operation Warp Speed, anti-forced vaccinations, which Trump was anti-forced vaccinations also, but created the vaccinations that were forced upon us via Operation Warp Speed. Were you for the COVID relief bill that Thomas Massey stood against for $2 trillion? Which, by the way, that $2 trillion is the overspending that we spend in deficit spending every year now. Before that was pushed through Congress by who? By who? Donald Trump, before that was pushed through Congress, our annual spending was about $5 trillion. And we only got in about $3.5 to $4 trillion with tax revenue. Now it's $6.8 trillion because that's what it was once they increased the COVID level spending. When we've never reduced the COVID level spending. Somehow we're spending it on other things now. So are you for that? Because Thomas, are you for that bill to spend $2 trillion on COVID? Because if you're not, then you're with me. Then you've been thrown out of the MAGA limousine, right? All right, let's go to the next one. Hey, there it is. I mean, that's not the actual one.
That is the actual one. That's outside of Congress.
Yeah, that's not where it is, though.
Well, that's one of them.
Pull it up. It's not. That is a meme for one thing. That is false. That's not real, Aaron, at all. It's not there, and it's not the right statue either.
All right.
It's not. But anyway, so let's go to the next one. Laura Loomer tweet. Thomas Massey's accuser, Cynthia West, Syntax 007, said is her favorite. It said, what kind of fruit is it? What do you call those things? Eggplant. Eggplant, which is like a sexual thing, I guess. I have no idea. I had a difficult time even disseminating what this is. Said eggplant is her favorite and that she loves them and planted a ton. This allegedly was a back and forth between her and Thomas Massey in a flirtatious way, which again, is that illegal? Do I agree with him doing this? No. You ought to keep your sex talk to yourself if that's in fact what they're doing, which you wouldn't really be able to prove this is sex talk anyway. But anyway, Matt, this is Laura Loomer, bought and paid for. No matter what Trump does, it's right. Even if she was against it before, now that Trump is doing it, it's now right. Massey can deny whatever he wants, but the receipts show he and Cynthia were very sexually flirtatious. Oh my gosh. In each other shortly after his wife died. It's not shortly after his wife died. And imagine being this callous of a human being. And Laura Loomer's been Baker acted before, so I mean, please. So you just see it on the bottom. You can see it. Some of it was by seed, not the tomatoes, though, I guess. D word, you got summer salads covered. That's awesome. I guess that's some sort of, maybe that's his made up account. I have no idea. But anyway, go to the next one for me. So there should have been one that was just the Syntax tweet. We did do it in the pregame. All right, forget it. We're rocking tonight, boys. All right, here we go. So anyway, Thomas Massey for Congress. Check the date of her post. It proves the opposite. That's why I needed the Syntax tweet put on here, guys. There it is. That's what's supposed to be there. That's the next one in the order. But anyway, so here it is. You know, the eggplant is my favorite, and I am not trying to be crass. I love them and planted a ton. At Rep Thomas Massey, here is your update. Okay, so now go to the next one for me. There it is. So if you saw the date on that, check the date of her post. It proves the opposite of what you said. It seems she was trying to flirt with me online months after she falsely claims to be emotionally traumatized and offered money to be quiet. So there it is. It's over. By the way, Will, I just figured out it's me, not you. I apologize, boys. It was me. I screwed it up. I thought because I saw the tweet on the other one. In my mind, it was already done. But anyway, my fault. But anyway, so this just proves you saw the date on there. Check the date. It proves the opposite of what you said. It seems opposite of what Loomer said. It seems she was trying to flirt with me online months after she falsely claims to be emotionally traumatized and offered money to be quiet. So after she's traumatized, emotionally traumatized, and after she falsely claims to be emotionally traumatized, she offers him money. After that. So how emotionally traumatized can you be when you are eggplanting and tomatoing him? If you are emotionally traumatized, how is it that you're eggplanting? Again, I had no idea eggplant meant penis, I guess. Tomatoes mean balls. I have no idea, but I guess that's what it means. How are you emotionally traumatized? And then later on, a few days later, there you are sexually flirting with the guy? Please. Again, it just shows you that this is being put up by the very people, which are all Trump people, that are coming out against Thomas Massey and funding the campaign against him. Here's one of the bought and paid for political pimps and whores. Next one up, Will Chamberlain. Okay, we are off. It's me. It's all me, guys. It's not you. It's all me. Dinesh D'Souza's up next, which, by the way, fits right into Will Chamberlain anyway.
Yeah.
She's another pimp and whore. So anyway, here we go. While I have no idea, and if you look, I want everybody to look at the bottom left-hand corner. See what it says there? Paid partnership. What does that mean? It means Dinesh, who got on his social media platforms, pimped and whored COVID masks, pimped and whored the lockdowns. I don't know if he pimped and whored the vaccines, but if I was to guess, he did. And I can almost guarantee you he's vaccinated.
Oh, yeah.
So that's who Dinesh D'Souza is. Just another Ben Shapiro type who ebbs and flows to maintain. He'll say what I mean by ebb and flow. He'll say whatever it is that he needs to say to not be banned on social media and to maintenance some sort of popularity, which right now means you have to be up Trump's rectum. And that's what he's doing, which, by the way, that's not even the case. And this right here is the big tell. This campaign, whoever gets elected shows you where the power's at. Is the power with the podcasters, or is the power with Trump bought and paid for Jewish lobbyists? Which one is it? We're about to find out. I hope it's us. And by the way, you see that poly market, that's from the 13th. Today's the 14th. It's now shifted heavily back into Thomas Massey's favor now. But anyway, while I have no idea whether these allegations are true, yeah, you do, Dinesh. First of all, the timeline doesn't work out, so you do know. So this paid partnership, you are actually paid to put this out. So in other words, you're a whore. I don't know how you get up in the morning and call yourself a conservative. You are a whore. If you are, it doesn't matter whether you are pro-life or not. If you are going to be a whore, then you are a disingenuous liar and would never stand and be truly pro-life anyway when the pressure was on. But Massey has become an obstacle to the GOP. It sounds like somebody wrote this for him, and a willing ally of Democrats, as if he was given a script. He was, because it's a paid partnership. Hey, Dinesh, put this out for us. What a whore. What a whore. So I'll be glad to see him go down. Go to the next one for me. Grok tweet. So the paid partnership disclaimer on X means the post is sponsored promotional content. It indicates Dinesh D'Souza or his team was compensated, likely by Polymarket or other associated advertiser, to share and comment on that specific market update about you. Yes, the label exists to disclose he was paid for the post. There are no good guys and bad guys. There is Jesus and there's the Antichrist. You decide what side to be on, but there are no good guys. There are no good guys outside of real born-again believers, and a lot of them aren't good guys either, sadly, because they're not. A lot of them aren't really born again because they haven't really believed the true word, the word of God to be saved. They just have a fresh start and a new beginning. I just dedicate my life to Jesus as I go home and live with my girlfriend. It's not real Christians. I just always have to put that out there. All right, go to the next one. Here's another one for you. Will Chamberlain. Good afternoon, Congressman. I think we made a reasonable assumption about what the NDA would contain. But before we get there, could you answer this question? Did you offer Miss West, that's the alleged girlfriend, $5,000 to drop her wrongful termination claim against Rep. Spart's office? A simple yes or no. Thomas Massey had nothing to do with her being fired from her own office. He answers. Good afternoon. I think I made a reasonable assumption about the NDA. Okay, so he answers the question. No, absolutely not. There you go. Did you offer $5,000? No. There it is. And by the way, she is now suspiciously running for political office herself. She's running for a school board seat. Now she's got all this clout. It's all shame, clout, fame, but it's all there. So allegedly. And she's a wacko. You watch her. I mean, an absolute whack job. No, absolutely not. Look at the newer articles. I'll just add this in there. Moron. She now says, that's never a good start. When you're going to put your faith and trust behind somebody who is now saying in comparison to what they did say, she now says, I gave her the money in December before she even started the job. So let's get this back. So she's sexually flirting with him, allegedly, after the money. And now she says she got the money before she ever got the job she was fired from. This is a hatchet job, and you're complicit. Good job, Will Chamberlain. Great job. So glad I don't follow you or don't follow you anymore. Love it. You're just a Trump whore. And yes, I voted for Donald Trump, and I don't regret voting for Donald Trump. I don't. Who are we going to vote for? Kamala? So I don't regret it. But this is a disaster. Trump going after Massey is a disaster, and I hope Massey wins by 10, 12, 15 points to humiliate Donald Trump and his troop of liberal backers. These are pro-choice, pro-trans, pro-APAC backers. And you're going to claim that you want Trump out? As a MAGA person? As a conservative, you want Massey out? I said Trump, I meant Massey. You want Massey out? He's being campaigned against by pro-Soros advocates. And that's now, I guess Soros is now MAGA? Is that it? I mean, really?
Apparently.
I guess. I mean, so that's what you have to be MAGA now. MAGA is now Mark Levin and George Soros. They're the ones. Soros is part of the backing, as well as the liberal back. Can't remember his first name, Price, and then Paulson also. They're all leftist, and they're the ones that are campaigning against masks. Strangely, they're all giant AIPAC backers. Weird, isn't it? I just don't get people like Will Chamberlain. I don't get people like Dinesh D'Souza. You know you're lying. You know you're a disgusting liar. You know now you are calling MAGA pro-trans. MAGA now means to you pro-trans. These are all, by the way, these are all pro-abortion activists too. So now does that mean you're all to be MAGA? The people that are trying to get rid of Thomas Massie are pro-trans, pro-AIPAC, pro-abortion, pro-homosexual. So that's MAGA now? I'm just curious. Because if that's what if you think like, I'm not drawing distinct lines. The distinct lines are right there in this campaign. Go next for me. Thomas Massie video. Where am I? Is it me again? Okay, it's all me. I'm off tonight. It's all me.
Congress, I hope.
Okay. Oh, his answer to Will Chamberlain. Thank you. Thank you guys for doing a much better job than me. I hope you have good lawyers when this is over. Why do you still assert that the NDA allegedly offered by Spart's office or House Employment Office would have prevented her from talking about me? Perhaps you should clarify that you're making that part up. Good. I hope he sues the living crap out of Will Chamberlain and Laura Loomer. It's easy. You have them on social media. Hopefully they've screenshotted all of them. Sue the crap out of New MAGA. That's what I'm going to call them. New MAGA. It's just New MAGA. New MAGA means that means Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Laura Loomer. That's what it means. That's New MAGA. All the people that used to be like Mark Levin, never Trumpers, Miriam Adelson, who sponsored Marco Rubio. And Donald Trump said that Marco Rubio, it was actually Sheldon Adelson, who sponsored Marco Rubio to the tune of millions of dollars. And then he said that he was going to become a puppet for Sheldon Adelson. And then Miriam Adelson gives Donald Trump $300 million. So who's got their hand up at Trump's anal puppet shoot? All right, let's go to the next one. Thomas Massie video. We need more transparency in foreign interest lobbying on Capitol Hill. Isn't that what we voted for? Didn't we vote for that? How's that wall going for all of you people that are sycophantic for Trump? That no matter what he does, it now becomes right. When Trump does wrong, it's now right. I'm just curious. I mean, you're no different than a leftist because everything Trump did that was wrong, everything that Trump did that was right, they called wrong. And now you, every time he does something wrong, you're calling it right. How are you any different than AOC?
Yeah.
How are you any different? You're gonna lie. Lies are lies in the eyes of God. If you're lying for a specific person, it's still a lie. It doesn't matter in the eyes of God whether you're lying for this person or that person. It's still a lie. Will Chamberlain is a liar. Dinesh D'Souza is a liar because they're doing it for Trump. It makes it right. No, it doesn't. So this is what we voted for. This is what Thomas Massie said. We need more transparency in foreign interest lobbying on Capitol Hill. Would we all agree on that?
Yep.
We're not getting it. How's the wall going? 60 miles worth out of 2,000 so far. We're on year 6. How's it going? Just curious. How's it going? How's the gas prices? How's the interest rates? How's the inflation going? How's that going? Oh, how are our mass deportations going? How's that working out? I'm just curious. I mean, Joe Biden let in somewhere between 15 and 30 million, and we might deport 100,000 this year on the rate that we're at.
Ugh.
So tell me how that's going. Oh, it's now right to not deport people because Trump's saying not to deport people? I really don't get people. That's how people end up with a mark on their right hand or on their forehead because it's Isaiah 5:20 and 21. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put light for darkness and darkness for light, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Once you start flipping and you start calling right wrong, you're a cultist. That's why I introduced the Americans Insist on Political Agent Clarity Act. This is the guy we want to get rid of. Everyone wants to get rid of exposing foreign lobbies in D.C. That's the person you want to get rid of. Play it for me.
Today, I introduced a bill called the AIPAC Act. You'll see this come up. Nobody knows this. I'm debuting it on your show right now, which would make AIPAC subject to Foreign Agent Registrations Act. For some reason, they're immune right now. And I think not just the money that's spent in politics, but the lobbying that happens on Capitol Hill should be reported if it's a foreign country, whether it's Great Britain, Australia, Turkey, Qatar, or Israel. It needs to be reported.
And the amount of money that goes to these influencers, it's really interesting. You'll see them sort of all, publishing the same attacks online almost simultaneously, or they'll release videos. They're all on the same page, and it's like they're receiving talking points. They should have to disclose that they're receiving this money, right?
Yeah, when I do a commercial, and I've said this so many times, when in my sleep I think about it. I'm Thomas Massey, and I approve this message. I'm Thomas Massey, and I approve this message. That's either at the front or the end of every commercial I do. And when I send out a piece of mail, it says who did it, and, my campaign, Thomas Massey for Congress, approved by Thomas Massey for Congress, paid by. And we need that. I believe we should have that same sort of truth in advertising on social media, because if it's a good idea in the other outlets, it would be a good idea on social media, particularly because so much of it is foreign money. I remember all of these complaints about election interference, fraudulent elections, and the Russians being involved, and who else being involved. But really, the elections are being influenced online.
Yeah, basically our elections are being influenced by foreign lobbies, mainly AIPAC. AIPAC is running the campaign assault against Thomas Massey. I mean, come on. I'll show you in a minute. All right, Mandy Arthur tweet, "Hey, Grok, if you were a Kentucky voter, would you vote for Ed Galrine or Thomas Massey?" Grok, Thomas Massey, his record prioritizes fiscal restraint. I thought that was MAGA. Limited government. MAGA. Constitutional principles over party loyalty. MAGA. What are we now? Party loyalty, Trump loyalty over constitutional principles. Core values that align with independent analysis of effective representation for Kentucky's 4th District. There you go. That's just the truth. Go to the next one for me. Thomas Massey tweet, "No one should have to beg." Here's what else. So number one, he's trying to put forth a bill called the Americans Insist on Political Agent Clarity Act today, which is basically trying to get AIPAC to have to register under FARA. And now what else is he trying to do? No one should, we got to get rid of this guy. Got to get rid of him, right? In the name of MAGA, no one should have to beg the government to exercise a constitutionally protected right anywhere in the country. Thank you at Rep Boast for co-sponsoring another HR 645, the National Constitutional Carry Act. Yeah, got to get rid of that guy.
Yeah.
How do you wake up in the morning, Dinesh D'Souza and Will Chamberlain and Laura Loomer, and call yourself a conservative as you fight against conservatism using Soros and AIPAC money? How? I would just love that. I mean, I would love for you to somehow tell me how you call yourself a conservative. How is it that you live with yourself? Go to the next one for me. Here it is. It's now up to 11 million from the Israel lobby. For this is the most expensive House seat race in history. Why? To get rid of a man whose liberty scores 99% and votes for Donald Trump 96% of the time. Can you explain that to me? Can anybody explain that to me? Simply because he wanted the Epstein files released. Simply because he would not sign the COVID relief bill. You hear all these just blind, sycophantic Trump supporters out there? He won't sign the big, beautiful bill for transgender surgeries. It's in there. That's what you're going to sign. That's what you're going to sign. Well, you have to make we're going to make compromises for that. You're going to make compromises, lop off penises, testicles, and breasts of minors. That's going to be the hill you die on, or the hill you don't die on. Is that what it's going to be? It's now MAGA to lop off penises. Is that going to be in the new MAGA ads? I'm just curious. We are the party of lopping off penises and homosexual marriage. That's who's funding Eddie Galrine. People who want homosexual marriage, transgender surgeries for minors, pro-abortion, pro-Soros, pro-Price, pro-Paulson. $11 million. That's just the AIPAC money, let alone what else is coming in. There you go. That's what's true. Go to the next one for me. Alexander Cooper Ryder video. Crowd turns. You saw this in the pregame. Got to play it again. Listen to this. Look at this dope. This is who you want. This is the manly man that people want in Congress. This is the guy that's representing the toughness of MAGA. Crowd turns on Ed Gowring, Thomas Massey's opponent at a campaign event. Play for me.
He took the press out of the middle and talked right to the people. What did President Trump do? What did Gowring do? I'm going to talk right to you. I ain't scared enough. You think I lack for courage? In fact, they had to hog tie me from taking that bull on. So there ain't no money in it. The New York Times is going to show up, and all they're going to print is, if you like your doctor, you can keep him. Whatever they say, they're going to call it the gospel. And you ain't going to hear another word about it. So as you might guess, I'm not shy about courage about nothing. In terms of that.
But you haven't debated him.
I'm debating him right now.
No, you're not.
I'm glad
You're not debating him. You're giving a bunch of platitudes. You're not explaining anything. You've not gone toe-to-toe with the congressman. You're not explaining your differences. You're not doing anything. You're not explaining any differences.
I just laid it all out, young man.
It made no sense.
It
made no sense.
I didn't want to see your Letterman jacket.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a civil conversation?
Yeah, a civil conversation is the congressman and him debating, not him pulling up signs and a Letterman's jacket.
You asked a question, he answered it.
That's not an answer.
So he pulls up this lame picture. Aaron got it for me earlier because he just happened to find it. But that picture is, oh, there it is. Good job, Aaron. Wow, that was fast. That's like I stand alone. What, with AIPAC? You stand alone with AIPAC and George Soros, Price and Paulson. That's who you stand alone with, are Democrats. And I love it's hysterical because all of the blind MAGA morons out there are saying Thomas Massey is a Democrat. He votes 99, his Liberty score is 99%, votes for Trump, to this day, 96% of the time. The people who are funding the campaign against him vote against Trump 100% of the time. Do you know that? That doesn't wake you up at all that Soros money's behind it, AIPAC money's behind it? Does that not wake you up at all? Amazing to me. Go to the next one. We have to show you this. Here's why I wonder why Donald Trump turned against Marjorie Taylor Greene. Because she refused to take her name off of the Release the Epstein Files petition because it would hurt his friends, which he has never publicly denied, never will, because it's in fact true. He said to her, I want you to take your name also off of the release legislation, whatever they called it. And the release, because they all had to sign a petition to release the Epstein files. Her and Massey, I think, were the only ones, the Republicans, to sign it, maybe a few others. And he called her and said, you have to take your name off of the release document. And she said, why? He said, because it would hurt my friends. Donald Trump is immune from the Epstein files. He didn't do anything. He didn't. He's on the record turning Epstein in for all intents and purposes and kicking him out of his life. That's the truth. But not so other people in his orbit. Or people maybe he doesn't want to offend Netanyahu because we all know that Epstein was a Mossad agent under the auspices of Netanyahu. But anyway, and not to mention Howard Lutnick, Aaron? Lutnick, got it right. Yep. Yes, because I'm always Lutwick. It's Lutnick. Howard Lutnick. I mean, his deposition in Congress, frightening.
Yeah.
Okay, frightening. Says he cut off all ties with Jeffrey Epstein until he was on his boat going to his... Said he cut off all ties with Jeffrey Epstein in 2005 until he was on his boat going out to his island in 2012. Oops. And again, remember now, those people are the ones funding the campaign against Thomas Massey. Yeah, there you go. And lo and behold, I don't agree with her stepping down from Congress. She needs to do what Massey's doing, run again.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. But there it is. AIPAC money for Marjorie Taylor Greene, 0. Thomas Massey, let's add it all up, shall we? 0. It's really easy to add up. All right, let's go to the latest polls. Go to the next one for me. All right, KY04 Republican, Kentucky 04 Republican primary winner. Thomas Massey is at 64% chance of winning. Gowring way down. So right now the podcasters are winning. Go to the next one, we will. Here's Cauchy breaking Thomas Massey has regained the lead in the Kentucky 04 Republican primary. He now has a 60% chance to win. That's big. That's a big change from yesterday. There we go. That's big. All right, enough on that. Let's go to the next thing. I have to show you this. A lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to get too much into the Chud the Builder stuff. And for those of you that are aware, he got in the shooting and everything, shot himself, shot another guy. And he's the one that goes around. I totally disagree with what he does.
Yeah.
Totally disagree. Going around and calling people N-words and just antagonizing people. Do I think you have the right to say the N-word? Absolutely. Okay, I mean, you decide at your own risk.
Right.
If you say it, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to get into that garbage. Okay. I'm not going to denigrate any human being like that. But you have the right to say it. It's like you have the right to call me a cracker if you want to call me a cracker, or, whatever you want to call me. You have the right to do it. You have the right to say whatever you want. And that is protected speech. I agree 100%. And he has the right to go around and say things to people. He does, but it's at your own risk. And this time here, nobody has the video. There's two different sides of the story or whatever. But so you have that going on. And that, to me, the whole Chud the Builder stuff is antagonistic and worthless and dumb. And it's called, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, an IRL, in real life is what they call it, streaming.
Yep.
Okay, you just, you're flying by the seat of your pants and you end up in a lot of trouble. But here's the thing. What about the black community? What's going on with the black community? And here's the thing. What are we going to do about it? Well, there's not much that we can do about it except to take away their influence, because the black community, and I'm talking about the leftist black community, because the black community still votes somewhere in the neighborhood of 87% of the time with Democrats. The very people that put the abortion mills on every urban street corner, causing 400,000 black deaths per year. The leading cause of death in the black community is white abortionists. But yet they still vote for those white abortionists every year. But there is a major problem in the black community. Okay, we've already outlined the major problem that we have with liberal white women on this podcast. So now we're going to talk about the major problem in the leftist black community. Excellent 3-minute video by Jason Whitlock. From DeAndre Anton in these high school prom videos displaying the flash and flamboyance of black people, to the Winthrop University commencement videos of these black guys dancing ridiculously, choosing to celebrate black culture is doing more harm than good. Play for me.
Giving in to your emotion, a female-driven culture. We think that that's the same as family or Christian culture. And we think it's going to produce the same results as family or Christian culture. That's a joke. This is just a short clip. DeAndre Ayton, NBA player for the Lakers, showing off his latest investment in gold chains and diamonds. That's black culture. People defend this. Jay-Z, we buy all these diamonds and gold chains because of our African roots, and diamonds are over in Africa and we want to be flossy and blah, blah, blah. That's a culture, and that's a mindset. This is the culture that we have chosen, and we celebrate and we normalize, and we're afraid to criticize because we don't want to be thrown out of the black club. There's a consequence to all of this. This is the latest thing that I've been seeing that's been annoying me. This is graduation day at Winthrop University in South Carolina. I used to live in Rock Hill, South Carolina, where this graduation ceremony is going on. And these are college graduates at a predominantly white university in South Carolina. And in front of, this isn't appropriate at an HBCU, but to be doing this clown stuff, and I get the boule, the black Greeks, this is all very important, that you, on graduation day in front of a stadium, in front of a big audience, that you do your Kappa stroll, your Omega Psi Phi stroll, your Delta Sigma Theta stroll. And they're trying to figure out at Winthrop University and in the state of South Carolina, how can we stop this? Because it's slowing down our graduation ceremony, and people don't want to see this. This is black culture being brought to predominantly white universities, and everybody has to put up with this. We got to do a dance routine when we graduate. It's like, there's a culture among black people. It's like, we have to dance and show off in front of everybody. And again, I'm the bad guy for pointing it out, that these guys are shucking and jiving in front of white people on their graduation day. This is supposed to be our best and brightest. And you wonder why this culture, this highly emotional dance, jewelry culture doesn't produce the same results as family culture or Christian.
What did he say that was wrong? I love how the Jay-Z, we get all the diamonds from Africa. You know, the reason why we get diamonds is because they're from Africa and it's African culture. The people who are mining them are little black boys and girls who are dying in the mines, mining your diamonds for your domination necklace. How does I mean? It makes as much sense as the Trump people supporting the campaign against Massey. You're killing your own to get what you want, which makes no sense. All right, here's one of my favorite characters of the day, Justin Pearson. Aaron, side by side, just so everyone knows. Justin Pearson, here he is. Okay, he's the one we showed this threat and hopefully gets, I haven't heard any charges. If the Tennessee State Police do not criminally charge him with a battery on law enforcement officer, they are gutless, gelding cowards. But anyway, Breitbart News video, more code switching from Justin Pearson. Play for him.
We demand justice, equality, and fairness in Shelby County, Fayette County, McNair County, Williamson County. Make it 15, 16, 17 counties, it don't matter.
So you aren't just going to be campaigning in Shelby County or in District 9, the former District 9. So what is your strategy now as you follow along this new District 9?
Absolutely. We have to go everywhere. I mean, one of the favorite compliments.
All right, there you go. We don't need to see the interview. All right, so there he is. Now let's all remember what he sounds like there, shall we? I mean, a black person wouldn't go ethnic on us, would they? No. Like Kamala always does, where suddenly county becomes kinda. And this kinda. And that kind of, and this kind of.
Come on.
So they wouldn't do that, would they? Well, let's look back then, shall we? Let's look back at 2016 Justin Pearson versus 2026 Justin Pearson and wokeness video. Play for me.
Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of BSG. There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation. How can we represent all voices in a conversation? I wanted to do this by partnering with organizations from the Bowdoin Democrats to the Bowdoin Republicans. I want to bring together different voices, dissenting voices, voices that may be more liberal or more conservative, in order that we can reach a point of sort of the radical middle.
Here, you've had 3 strikes laws, mass incarceration, denied us of who we are, and we are still here. And today, you'll take the only majority black district from us. But I want you to know, and I want my nephew, sons, and the future to know, no matter what you do, no matter how much you try and break us and make us bend and make us quit, we will still be here.
You want to talk about cultural appropriation. I mean, he is like basically, I mean, by the way, he was talking the way that everybody should talk. Just talk normal.
Right.
He's talking completely normal. I'm not going to say he's talking white. He's talking normal.
Right.
How everybody should talk. Where you're not turning county into county. You don't need to do that. Okay? Whenever I'm preaching, I'm just loud me.
Yeah.
I don't suddenly become Rodney Howard-Brown. I don't suddenly become Jonathan Shuttlesworth. I don't suddenly become Andrew Womack or Billy Graham. I talk like a normal human being, by the way. And so speaking of graduations, because Jason Whitlock was covering the graduation from Winthrop, here's Justin Pearson speaking at a high school graduation in his district. Play for me. I love how when in 2016 he has a regular haircut, now he's got the giant fro, and he just assumes basically the contrived ideal of what Malcolm X would have been or something. It's so gross. And if anybody else ever tried to appropriate that, we'd all be called racist. And we'd all become frauds and fakes. If I decided that I was going to appropriate any sort of white culture that was not my own, I would be called a fraud. He obviously is not somebody from the ghetto. We heard him talking. obviously. And now he's appropriated ghetto culture. All right, Matt Van Swell video. What on earth? The Charlotte, North Carolina NAACP president says it's seriously disturbing that white people, now I want everybody to trade the words white and black for each other in this statement, that white people are being considered for interim mayor. Now, why would we replace the black outgoing mayor with a white person? So let's reverse that. Seriously disturbing that black people are being considered for interim mayor. Why would you replace white outgoing mayor with a black person? Imagine if you just reverse it. So when I do it, though, it's racism. But when this lady does it because she's got a towel on her head and has assumed ghetto black culture, that now it's righteous somehow. What's wrong is wrong, and what is right is right. It's really simple. This is racism. Play it for me.
Why would we replace the black outgoing mayor with a white person? That simple.
NAACP Charlotte Mecklenburg chapter president Corinne Mack refusing to walk back her comments in this Facebook post from Monday. Mack wrote that it is, quote, seriously disturbing for white folks to be lobbying to be Charlotte's interim mayor. City Council is currently searching for someone to serve out the remainder of Vi Lyles' term, who is set to resign at the end of June. In an interview with Queen City News on Wednesday, Mack argued recent rulings on voting rights and redistricting efforts are evidence of black representation being undermined and stripped, and that voters in Charlotte have been intentional about having black representation.
And my question to the white folks who are up in arms and outraged, are they outraged about the fact that black representation is under attack? Are they outraged about the gerrymandering that's happening all over this country?
Martin Luther King is rolling over in his grave thinking about, hearing something like what was said today in that post.
Abdul Ali, the vice chair for the 12th Congressional Republican Party, rejected Mack's argument.
Again, that's just simply racism. Why in the world can white people assume a black mayor's chair? How is it? Why? Okay, so I guess that's going to be a gerrymandered mayoral position, that every mayor of Charlotte, North Carolina now has to be black. And I love how they're so outraged about Republican gerrymandering, but have never said one word about the gerrymandering in all of New England, all of California, all of Illinois, all of New York, all of New Jersey, and the attempt to do it in all of Virginia. Not a word. You're just getting, but the reason why, again, I said this last night, the reason why the left is so upset about gerrymandering is they can't score any more points. They've already gerrymandered all their maps. There's no more for them to collect. We, on the other hand, can go gerrymander Missouri tomorrow. We can go gerrymander Kansas tomorrow. We can take away all this just because we've not done any gerrymandering. But they have. There you go. All right, more on the black culture here. So you saw black culture there. You're allowed, as the the North Carolina NAACP president, you're allowed to say things like, it's seriously disturbing that white people are being considered to be mayor. What if I said it's seriously disturbing that black people are being considered? I would not say that because I'm not a racist. I don't care whether you're black or white. I care what you believe and how you live. I don't care about anything else. I care about, are you saved or are you not? That's how I think. I'm a racial realist. I'm not somebody in the black community. They sit there and they make up things that they never were. That's not being a realist. They say that there was a black Wall Street. No, there wasn't. They say that they invented this and they invented that. They didn't. Simple. I mean, again, all of it's been disproven. What was it? The 1619 or whatever project?
1619 project.
All lies.
Yep.
All of it lies. All of it disproven. But if you don't believe their lies, then you're racist. Just like if you don't right now believe everything that Trump says, you're not MAGA. See how it's all lies? That's why God hates lies. All right, Fox 13 post. The Tampa Police Department arrested, this is a little old, but 22 people between the ages of 12 and 21 after teen takeover Friday night. And James Fishback, who I 100% am behind, for governor of the state of Florida, trying to get him to come talk at the church here. Anybody out there I've already sent him. I've already talked to him actually on DM, to James Fishback himself, I believe. Anybody know him? Push him to come to Foundation Church. We'd love to have him. We've got 1,000. We can seat 1,300 people in our auditorium. So we'd love to have him do a Q&A simply with him. And me and him, that's it. But anyway, James Fishback is saying we need to stop calling these things teen takeovers and call them what they are, riots. Let's look at the video. Fox News video, a violent quote unquote teen takeover. Play for me.
They have their vehicle over at Gasparilla Plaza. If they can return to their vehicle, we need somewhere to put these 10, 15s in. Any units with vehicles like Gasparilla Plaza, please return to your vehicle.
It may be slightly hyperbolic to say, but I saw other video to say that everybody in there is black, but statistically speaking, everybody involved in the riot was black. There is a problem in the black culture. What is it? 75% fatherless rate. 70, and by the way, whites are starting to catch up with it. So again, it has nothing to do with skin pigmentation. It has to do with culture, and it is not good. It's not good. All right, let's go to the next one. Fan Trump Army video, bombshell expose. Black Lives Matter executive director Tashila Sherry Amor Dickerson, why do you have to have 4 names, was charged for embezzling $3.15 million into her personal account. Play it for me.
Fox News alert, a BLM executive indicted for embezzling millions in donations and spending it on vacation, shopping, houses. Senior national correspondent Kevin Cork has the details. Kevin.
Crazy stuff, my friend. Authorities say over a 5-year period, 52-year-old Tashila Sharia Moore Dickerson, just like the song, the executive director of Black Lives Matter OKC, diverted more than $3 million in return bail checks right into her very own bank accounts. And tonight, thanks to a 25-count federal indictment, she faces up to 450 years behind bars and millions in potential fines. Dickerson charged with 20 counts of wire fraud and 5 counts of money laundering following a scheme in which she's accused of routing money intended for the group's programs into accounts that she controlled between June of 2020 and October of 2025. The indictment said she used the money for her own personal benefit, including travel to Jamaica and the Dominican Republic, tens of thousands of dollars in retail shopping, more than 50 grand in food deliveries. Also a vehicle and 6 real estate properties as well. When contacted about the charges, a spokesperson for BLM says that they practice a, quote, model of decentralized leadership. Got it. Oh, and by the way, you've heard the expression, birds of a feather flock together. Well, I'm going to leave this right here, Jesse. That's Dickerson with Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Draw from that what you will. And while Dickerson is obviously presumed innocent until proven guilty, you may recall that BLM actually had a situation back in 2022 when the group, not the one from OKC, came under fire after allegedly making a $6 million property purchase in California using donor funds. Some things don't change.
Just wonderful leftists, aren't they? Just wonderful leftists. So here you have Tashila Dickerson, who's charged with multiple things, one of them embezzling, but there's also wire fraud and everything else. For embezzling $3.15 million into her personal account. She used them to buy 6 properties, a car, for shopping, just indiscriminate shopping, and of course, look at her, $50,000 worth of food deliveries, which she ate every last crumb, it would appear. Wow. All these righteous people, I remember the Christians, I remember the evangelical Christians, who are all putting black flags out and whatever it was that you had to do to be pro George Floyd. Congratulations, all of you. Where are your retractions and your apologies? I'm just curious. Never have seen them. Never seen them yet. But anyway, all right, let's go to the next one. And wokeness video. I have to show you this one. I have to show you this. No, this is not AI. This is an exhibit in a museum that just got $1 million of Will's money, Aaron's money, and my money, because I'm sure it's NGO. I doubt that it's state dollars. But anyway, this is an exhibit in a museum that just got a $1 million grant from Louisville. Play it for me.
Welcome to America. Tell me what you're thinking.
Just so much.
Kleenexes, please.
I've always been interested in history and the history of black people. I took Afrocentric classes at U of L. My grandma lived at 2821 West Kentucky Street. I've read so many books, and now I belong to a church that's primarily African American. and I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Taxpayer dollars pay for that. Just want to let you know.
Dude.
I mean, that's the deal. That man has never been a slave. He's never been related to a slave, and that woman's never owned a slave, but yet they put chains on her hands. Okay. All right, guys, let's move to the fun part of the show here. I actually skipped content to get to this because it's real important for me to get to this. This right here is absolutely hysterical. Okay, this is for pure. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's right-wing rage. We all should be raging with this, but it's entertaining. Newsmax video. I'm not kidding when I say any of this, but the role of Achilles will reportedly be played by Elliot Page, who is a trans man, a woman pretending who got her boobs lopped off, but still has all the female organs, of course. I don't know if she got a phallic symbol sewed onto her inverted vagina, but other than that. But anyway, Elliot Page, remember her, like all the different movies. I'm trying to remember some of the movies.
Like Juno.
Juno, and then what was the Dream movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? Inception. In that movie. Looks like a guy, formerly Ellen Page, meaning the most famous warrior in history, not just Greek history, of all of history. Achilles is about to be played by a transgender woman in a brand new movie. Play it for me.
Famous Hollywood director Christopher Nolan, this guy right here, is making a movie based on the book, the poem, The Odyssey. And I'm not kidding when I say any of this, but the role of Achilles will reportedly be played by Elliot Page. Looks like a guy, formerly Ellen Page, meaning the most famous warrior in history, not just Greek history, all of history, Achilles, is about to be played by a transgender woman in a brand new movie. You might remember Ellen Page from the hit movie Juno 20 years ago, where she was definitely a woman.
Are you honestly and truly going to prom with Katrina DeVore?
Hi.
Leah just said that you were going to go with her.
Yeah, I did ask her if she wanted to go. A bunch of us from the team are going to go to Benihana and then go to the prom and then go to VJ's parents' cabin. So we're getting a stretch limo.
Your mom must be pretty stoked that you're not taking me.
Yeah, so that is Ellen before she became Elliot. And Elliot will now be playing the role of Achilles in this new movie. Achilles, who is described throughout history as being a superhuman warrior, deadly on the battlefield. He even defeated Hector of Troy. You might even remember Brad Pitt played Achilles in a movie 20 years ago, meaning we've gone from Brad Pitt to a girl who dresses as a guy who's 5'1", 118 pounds. That's the person that's going to be playing the greatest warrior in history, because to the left, that is normal. That's okay. And to top it all off, playing Helen of Troy, the woman who started the Trojan War. The likeness on the right, probably not great. She was beautiful. The woman whose face launched 1,000 ships, whose beauty was unparalleled, a woman who was definitely white, is going to be played by Lupita Nyong'o. You might be looking at this photograph saying, I think Lupita Nyong'o is black, and you're correct. We haven't adjusted anything. And I've got nothing against Lupita, but I do have a problem with the complete rewriting of history. Helen of Troy was not black. That's not me being mean, that's me telling the truth. The real, actual truth, which we tend to do a lot of here. And Achilles was not a 5'1" woman. But to the left, this is all normal. But don't you dare cast Brad Pitt as Martin Luther King Jr. in a movie. That would never happen, because Martin Luther King Jr. was definitely black, and Brad Pitt, I think, is white. And I don't think Christopher Nolan is going to cast Big Elliot Page, the transgender man, to play the role of George Floyd when they come out with that movie, and they will. I don't think they'll do that. Again, we say all of this because no one else will, but the left in this country are in trouble politically and everywhere else, because none of that is normal, even though they claim it is not.
So never live in delusion. I mean, that is the left. Again, and I'm not trying to parallel everything back to Massey, but that really was the theme of the show tonight. You look at that and you're like, that is mass delusion. Well, it is mass delusion to have leftists campaigning against Thomas Massey and claim that it's MAGA to support it. It's mass delusion. It is no more delusional to cast Elliot Page, really Ellen Page, to be Achilles than it is to campaign against Thomas Massey in the name of conservatism and MAGA. Some more delusional. Don't be a person of delusion. Now, Alex Jones, I don't know if he made, it's Dr. Clown PhD came up with the video, but Alex Jones played it. What happens, this is their version of what the movie's going to look like. What happens when Elliot Page replaces Brad Pitt as Achilles? Play for him. So there you go. Now, why in the world did Christopher Nolan do this? Well, let's look. Go to the next one for me. C3 tweet. To be eligible to win Best Picture at the Oscars, which, by the way, this is totally true, at least one non-white, non-straight lead or significant role has to be in your movie. At least 30% of the minor roles have to be non-white and non-straight, which that couldn't be race. Aaron, that's not racism.
No,
non-white.
of course.
What if I said non-black?
Right.
All right, so that would be racism, right? But not non-white. Delusion, right? Don't be delusional. At least 2 departments headed by non-white, non-straight people. That's the only way that you can actually win an Oscar in Hollywood. So that I wonder why Christopher Nolan's doing it. I mean, Aaron brought this up. He went from The Dark Knight. I'm assuming he did Dark Knight. I'm assuming that he did Dark Knight Rises. I'm assuming he did all of that, right?
Yeah.
Batman Begins.
Yep.
I mean, so you go from Tom Hardy to Ellen Page.
Oh
my word. I mean, it really is. It really is unreal. And for those of you, I just want to read these to you. Did you vote for this when it comes to Donald Trump? Shadow of Ezra post. U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz, Aaron, you're going to love this, announces $1.8 billion of U.S. taxpayer money will be sent to the United Nations to fund emergency humanitarian assistance. I thought we got rid of USAID.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we're just going to make it up now. This comes, you're like, well, that's not that much. Well, this comes on top of the $2 billion we've already given them.
Oh, great. Good.
Just wanted you to know. Did you vote for that? Okay, here's another one for you. Pete Hegseth just asked for $1.5 trillion in military spending. Did you vote for that? How about we don't spend, how about if you're going to spend $1.5 trillion on the military, you cut, because we always spend $1 trillion, just under $1 trillion on the military now. And I love the military, and I want our military to be super strong and powerful. However, if you're going to do that, where's the cuts to other things? How about not sending $1.8 billion to the UN? How about we cut $500 billion out of our $6.8 trillion budget, which is $1.8 trillion over what we bring in tax revenue every year. Every year we add $2 trillion worth of debt. So far, Donald Trump has added over $2 trillion worth of debt. Did you vote for that? Is that being MAGA? Deficit spending, socialistic spending, is that MAGA? Don't be delusional. Be a conservative. Be a traditional MAGA person. Be America first. That's how it is. Got to show you this one, sent in by Will. Disclosed TV video. Now, King Charles, my ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID. Play it for me.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
Oh, that's good. In other words, unless you have digital ID, you won't be able to interact with public services. So you won't be able to get a tooth pulled. You won't be able to get an appendectomy. You won't be able to travel. You won't be able to get a passport unless you have a digital ID that they can track everywhere, i.e. going back to Australia, where, don't worry, I mean, it's not, I love to do this with Aaron. No. It's not mandatory.
No, of course not. No.
I mean, they said, right? They're making cash non-existent. So you won't be able to spend any other way but through your digital ID. But it's not mandatory, just like the vaccines weren't. Yeah. In a 96% vaccinated population. Because you couldn't buy, sell, trade, or travel, or own your home or pay your mortgage without getting vaccinated, wearing your mask, or complying.
But that's your choice, though.
But that's your choice. Yeah. I mean, you can die. So you can either do what they want you to do or die, but that's your choice.
Right.
Which, by the way, will be, again, right out of Revelation 13, 16, 17, and 18. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. And that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. It's quantum dot tattoo technology being implemented by people like King Charles, who will never have to take it himself, but he will implement it for everybody else so they can track all your movements, tie everything to it, and then if you don't behave correctly, cut off all your rights. Just like how they've installed, it's going to be, it all comes into fruition in 2026 and 2027, which, by the way, it's already halfway through 2026, that all of our cars will now have kill switches in them. Yep. You got a 4-minute video that I'm going to play. I'll try to play it on Tuesday of next week. But anyway, so that's what they want to do too. Now, where would all this lead? Well, let's go to this one. Gunther Eagleman video. Brett Baer is getting firsthand look at China's terrifying surveillance state. Play for me.
Big Brother is watching. There are literally cameras everywhere in Beijing. We are outside the Haidian station, and I can count at least 20 on this corner. In fact, in Beijing, they've added 1,500 cameras just this year alone. They see everything. There's nobody jaywalking here because they could get a ticket right away. In fact, our driver parked illegally for 2 minutes, and he got a message on his phone that he got a ticket for about $40 US because they saw it on the camera. Now, there are real questions what the CCP's goal is about citizen tracking and social scoring. They say it's to make everybody feel safe. These cameras are watching every minute. They're everywhere. And while they're watching us here in China, we hope you continue to watch. Special report from Beijing.
Now, if you don't correlate that to Revelation chapter 13 and 14, you've lost your mind. And Aaron brought up a very valuable point here. This is when you're seeing that they want to build these AI data centers, Aaron, is that correct? Yep. Okay, and they, like Byron Donalds wants to do in Florida all over the place and bring in 5 million gallons of water a day to cool them off and all those things in a state that doesn't have the water to do it. But I digress. But anyway, when you see this, the only way, so you start with King Charles, the only way for that system to work is for you to have biometric ID. And so that you have King Charles, my ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID, biometric digital ID. In order for that sort of technology to work, you have to have what I call biotech ID or biometric ID or digital ID. Let's call it digital ID for ease of conversation. You have to have digital ID so that those cameras have something to recognize. Otherwise, they'd be just recognizing faces. That's all they'd be able to recognize. If you have digital ID, all of it's digitized. Your ID now is in a digital system being read constantly by AI. As Aaron said, it's impossible for systems like that to work with just human ability. Right. So you have to have a system with multifaceted algorithms running 24/7 in these giant data centers running. And then in that video, they parked their car illegally for 4 minutes and they got a ticket in 4 minutes. From that, parked illegally for 4 minutes, and because it's all, I'm assuming they were in a cab or whatever else. They were ticketed digitally in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. That's what this is like, and this is the point. Once you're on a biometric or digital ID, biometric is including all of your medical records and everything else, which they do in China already. Once that is in place, and they are and it's all digital, and you have no cash backup. You have electric cars and you pay that bill digitally, so you can't charge your car if someone shuts off your digital accounts. Does anybody want that? You had better be the 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 restraining, or this will come in a hurry. Byron Donalds wants to build, I don't know how many data centers in the state of Florida as a Republican.
Yeah.
So that we can institutionalize biometric and digital IDs. No, thank you. I want my freedom. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourself be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. It's simple as that. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. That's 355 people on right now. Tomorrow night, as I said earlier, Instagram and TikTok, Bible study. We're talking about cessationalism. Cessationalism are the people who believe that all the power of God stopped in the book of Acts, in the age of the apostles, which is nowhere in the Bible. Of course, it's just people making up theology to excuse things. But anyway, so join me tomorrow night, TikTok and Instagram only. If you don't know how to get on those platforms, get with somebody who knows how to do it. I guarantee you there are a million people around you that can show you how to upload or whatever you call it, Instagram. You're just going to the what do you call it, Aaron? The Apple Store?
Yeah, the App Store.
The App Store. That's all you got to do. Is just go to the App Store. But even I do it. Even I have pulled that off. Okay, so you can do it. Join me at the Bible study. I had record numbers last week. I think we got up to close to 150 people watching live. And it's a Friday night Bible study. So again, how many people are doing Bible studies on Friday night? We are, starting at 8 o'clock. So anyway, I love you guys. Stick around for the post game. If I don't see you tomorrow on the Bible study, see you at Foundation Church this Sunday.
You want to do rants?
At 10 a.m. Oh, yeah, we'll do the rants, Aaron. Yeah. Aaron's got, thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
Otherwise I would have forgotten. But anyway, if I don't see you at the Bible study, no, do that. That's fine. Because that was gone. So you did the right thing. It was gone. Gonzo.
Focused.
So that's fine. That's why you're the producer. But anyway, join me at Foundation Church right here. I'll be preaching. I'll take the stage somewhere around 11. You'll see Aaron from the start till about 11. And then you'll see me at 11 preaching. Join us at Foundation Church either in person at the address below. Join us online. We average right around 500 people watching live. So join us live. Make that your home church. If there's no good church in your area, don't go to a bad church. Don't go to a bad church just to go to church. Because a bad church will make you bad. Go to a good church online. And that's it. Hellfire and brimstone, the promises of God. But anyway, if I don't see you at any of those things, I'll see you Tuesday night, 9 o'clock back here. Let's do the rants.
Graffiti Bug donated $20. I can't wait to hear of arrests and the end of liars. This world would be such a better place with honesty and the following of God's word.
Well, focus on the last part. Graffiti Bug, love you because of the arrests. I don't know. Trump is trying, though. Okay, he is trying. He's going after Comey. I don't know how much Trump is behind what's going on in Capitol Hill with all the Fauci stuff, the gain of function stuff. Hopefully he's behind it. Don't like some of the stuff that I've heard with the interactions with the CIA and Tulsi Gabbard, although those stories are flipping right now, so I don't know what's true and what's not. But anyway, focus on following God's word, and we'll hope for the arrest. Go to the next one.
Robin Aroni donated $20. I am so thankful my journey on earth brought me to Foundation Church, Pastor Tom, and TLP.
And we're so glad for you, too. A lot of people would not guess it, but what's most important to pastors is not the offering. What's most important to pastors is the people who attend. Is attendance. And Robin Aroni, you're here every Sunday. I love you. Go to the next one.
Earth Tours donated $20. Matching Robin Aroni. Thank you, Pastor, and Team TLP.
Right back to Earth Tours. Love you guys. Thank you so much in the rant. Love you right back. You got any more?
Last one.
Jules 21 Hours donated $10. Looking forward to Bible study tomorrow night.
Yeah, Jules is always there. Love you. Thank you, Jules. We'll hit it hard tomorrow. It'll be really good. Sounds boring, but it's not. It is a very incitement related material. It is inciting. I mean, I don't mean exciting. I mean, it's inciting. It incites people. There's lots of different, it's basically Calvinism is what we're talking about more than anything. It's cessationalism. It sounds boring, but it is not. So join me with the Bible study tomorrow. All right. Love you guys. Stick around for the post game. Here it comes. I love you. God bless you.
This is Asker Basura's park right here. Look at this. And that's the encampment where all the fentanyl addicts and dealers just post up next to it. And then that's the park. That's where...
Insane.
Just lay it out, Scotty. Atta boy. Atta babe. Man. He always does a good job. Heck of an effort. Scotty. He made the play, too. He made the play and...
Radek nie ma kurwa szans! Ja pierniczę. Patrz powoli. Dobra. Ja pierdolę Radek, kurwa, ja nie! Poszli po wodzie! Nie! Płynie, płynie, nie wierzę w to tak.
No, widzę go. O. Co się dzieje? Nie wiem. Teraz się chyba? Jesteśmy uratowani!
A major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son. It takes new weight when we see what Trump is saying about the outcome of his trial, what we're hearing from other Republicans who say they don't accept the jury's verdict here in New York.
The contrast is profound. To sit there and say, well, I'm not going to intervene in the legal process and I wouldn't pardon my son. One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
We're coming on the air this hour with breaking news. President Biden has just pardoned his son Hunter.
Once again, to prove that there is no difference between biological females and biological males, we see this female Marine against this male Marine, and watch how it is a completely fair and equal battle. Do you see? See? Exact same.
This podcast is all about. We talk about a lot of political things, but underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.